All right, guys. So we just finished case 3 of chapter 3, and we're moving on to case 1 of chapter 4. So a couple things to keep in mind because we're back to case 1. We'll need to change the name back to case 1, and that's a good place to start. So I'm going to read the instructions for the first case, for case 1 of chapter 4, and it says add some operating activities, sales and cash receipts to your company. Based on what you learned in the text and using the sample company, you are to add the following transactions to your company. So before you attempt to do case 1 of chapter 4, make sure you did your chapter 4 test drive. Otherwise, you won't really understand what they're talking about because they don't give a lot of instructions from here on out. So the first thing that I'm going to do, because I know I need to do it, is I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go to accountant settings, and I'm going to go to company name, and I'm going to change this to case 01 and the student's name. Couldn't remember what it was for a second. And then I'm going to save that. Oh, I spelled it wrong. GU. There we go. Spell check. I know it's a capital G. And man, I am fumbling through it. It is 10 o'clock at night. MCGUIRE. All right, it is correct now. So I'm changing the name back to case 1. If I made any changes to sales or to expenses or to payments, or advanced, I would need to go back and change that to 1. Now, the one thing that I know that did change for case 3, and it's not the same for case 1, case 2, is when I believe it's sales, the term is, not for sales, expenses. Default bill payment terms was not due upon receipt. It was net 30. Case 1 and case 2 is net 30. I believe everything else is the same. We don't have to worry about the sales tax because we changed the date to start for the time period that case 3 would be running. So we should be good there. And once we change that, we can exit out and we can actually start the case. So I got case 1, student's name, and number 1 says add a new customer. So to add a new customer, we're going to go under sales and go to customers, and we're going to go to new customer, and it says the first name is Sarah Hey, and the company name is Hey Hayes Surf. The display name is Sarah Hay, which is what it says here already. And the address is the next thing. Let's tab all the way through to get to the address. The billing address is 230 Beach Way, and that's in La Jolla again, California. And it doesn't give me a zip code, and I'm going to try not to enter one because I don't remember what it was. I'm going to have to look it back up. Oh, it actually tells me what it is. 92039. Awesome. And then that's all the information it gives me. So I'm going to click save, and it's going to save it. Sarah Hay. Hey Surf. Address. No balances. Good deal. The next thing it says, number 2 says, add a new service. So to add a new service, under sales, I'm going to go to products and services. I'm going to go to new services. The name is going to be Tune Up. No SKU, no description. The rate is $85. And it does not say in here, income account, it does, services. Service, there's my income account. Taxable and not taxable, let's see what it says. It does not say if it's taxable or non-taxable, but I know from case 1 of chapter 3 that this is non-taxable. Okay, so that's the end of it. I can click save and close. So it's going to be really important to remember what was taxable in what case it was and what case it's not. So you can see what's taxable and what's not on this list. And there's only 2 things taxable. Services are never taxable, I don't think, in any case, even case 3. But in case 1 and 2, the inventoried items are not taxable. So under case 1 for chapter 4, it's going to say number 3 is going to be add a new product with a quantity tracked. So if I'm going to go to new product, I'm going to go to new, inventoried item. The name of this inventory item is Fred Rubble. The initial quantity on hand is 0. As of 1/1/218, 1-1-218. What's it going to tell me? It wants a 0 here, and it wants a 0 here. There we go. The price is $9.50. And the cost is $600. And my income account is simply sales. Cost of goods is my expense account. Question, is this taxable? It does not say that it's taxable. And like I said, the case 1 for chapter 3 was not taxed. So I'm going to take that off. And I should be good to go. Sales, cost of goods sold, the date, 0 starting out, the name, save and close. That's step 3. Step 4 says record a new sales receipt on 1/3/18. Customer is Blondie Boards. So I'm going to go to this little thing right here, this little plus sign, and I'm going to go to new sales receipt. My customer from the drop-down menu is going to be Blondie Boards. And the information comes up. The receipt is as of 1/3/18. 1-3/18. Let's see if I have to. Yep, that's not being fussy. Good. It says that the payment method is check. Reference number is 893. Check. Reference number 893. Deposit to undeposited funds. Undeposited funds from the drop-down menu. And then it says the product was Rook 15. There was 2 of them. Product, drop-down menu. Rook 15. Quantity 2. Rate of $6.50. Amount, no tax. Let's see if that's the rest of it. Yep, that's it. So it'd be really nice if it told you how much your total should be, the $1,300. That would guarantee that you got your taxes right and you got your rate right for all that. But it doesn't. But this is it. We make sure we got the customer name up here. It automatically fills their address. If there is one, we put the date in that it gives us. The payment method is going to be check. The reference number is 893. It's going to be deposited to undeposited funds. They have to the same product, the Rook 15, quantity 2. The rate and the amount automatically pops up, and we can just go down here and click Save and Send. And if I want to send it, I have to enter an email address. So I'm just going to click Save. There we go. Sales receipt, 1001. All right, so that's the sales receipt. The next is record a new invoice for 1418. So to record an invoice, I'm going to exit out of this, plus sign right here, right? And then I want to invoice. It's right underneath customers. So once I click this, is once it's us to sign up for our invoicing for a spend. I don't want to see that, so I'll click on no. And it tells me that the sales receipt is 1/3 of 18 and the customer is Blondie Boards. Oh, nope, that's sales receipt. The new invoice is 1/4 of 18 and the customer is Hey Hey Surf. So drop down menu, Sarah Hay, billing address for Hey Hey Surf. The invoice date is 1/4 of 18. Terms is net 30. And so this is, again, why we went back before we started this and changed our terms. Had we not selected net 30, it wouldn't be showing up here. So our terms, net 30. Net 30. We got the invoice date of 1/4/2018. The due date is going to be 30 days after the invoice date. And what else we got? They got the service a tune-up of 2 and the water hog of 1. So tune-up of 2 and a water hog of 1. So no sales tax again. One was a product, one was a service. Is that it for this transaction? Record new invoice 1-4-18, customer Hey Hey Surf. Terms net 30, service was purchased for tune-up 2, and there was a product for the water hog purchased of 1. That's it. So now we go down here and we click Save. We don't click Save or Send, we learned, because if we do, it's going to want us to have an email address up here. So we have an invoice saved for that. And we're on to number 6. Number 6 says record a new cash payment received on 1/5/18. So I'm going to exit out of that, plus sign again, right? And it said there was a payment received, I believe. New cash payment. So a cash payment would be a payment or received payment. It would not be a credit memo or a sales receipt. It would be received payment. So we received payment. 1/5/18 is the date. So I changed this to 1/5/18. Customers Blondie Boards. So we scroll down to the customer, Blondie Boards. Payment method says was a check. So under payment method, I drop down menu, check. The reference number is 984. It says I'm going to deposit to undeposited funds. So I'm going to change my checking account to undeposited funds. And the amount I received was $5,000. Now, something to keep in mind here is that whenever you do a receipt of a payment, they're always going to have something that they owe you. They're not going to be paying you for something unless they owe you for something. So here, their $5,000 payment is listed right down here for this transaction. So I don't enter it in manually anywhere. The only thing I do is I check mark this right here beside this journal entry for this $5,000, and it automatically puts my payment of $5,000 right here. Once I do that, and I confirm that my payment, my cash receipt is going to be $5,000, I'm done. I just need to click Save and New. Make sure I don't have anything I'm missing. Nope, I can just click Save and New. And it received my, my payment. So we go on to number 7, and number 7 says, record a deposit made on 1/8 of 18. So to record a deposit, I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to go to this little plus sign, and I'm going to go to bank deposit. It's listed under other. I click on bank deposit, and these are the 2 payments that I received that I might want to deposit. So let's see what it tells me to do. It says I made a deposit on 1/8 of 18. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the date to 1/8 of 18. And it says, to the checking account received from Blondie Boards, amount received $1,300 related to sales receipt. So I'm only going to report one deposit in the amount of $1,300 related to a sales receipt for Blondie Boards. Now, I'm going to be depositing into a checking account, and it doesn't say checking account 1, checking account 2, checking account 3, because it's assuming that you're going to deposit to the same checking account that you use for all of case 1. So case 1's checking account is just named checking. If I would need to change this for checking account 2, if I was in case 2, drop down menu, I select the right bank account that I want. 1, 2, or 3. So in this case it's 1. I'm selecting Blondie Boards for $1,300. That's how much I'm paying or depositing. And I just go down here and I click Save and New. Bank deposit, $1,300 was saved. All right. So step 8 says prepare a trial balance based on, submit your reports is basically what it's saying. So to submit our reports, this again is going to be case 1 of chapter 4. So the first report, I'm going to go to reports. First I'm going to do is a trial balance. Scroll all the way down, trial balance. And this is going to be a custom report. And because this is case 1, it's going to be 12, 31, 17 through 12, 30, 18. So this will, in essence, give me all of 2018. Run report. And here I get, as of December 30th, 2018, these are my balances. 83,330 and 83,330. Notice I still have things on here that happened in case 1 the last time. I don't have any case 2 or case 3 on here because of the date that I'm selecting. The trial balance runs from the beginning of time clear till the end of this date. So from here, I can export as PDF. I want to save it as a PDF. And I'm saving this, saving that for my records. And you're going to upload this to Canvas as your assignment, and you'll be done with this assignment. So I'm going to pause here while you can take a good look of the trial balance and what the accounts are and the balances for each. All right, so hopefully you're smart enough to pause the video if you need more time. I'm moving on. So that is the trial balance. That's the first one you're going to do. If this is off, obviously don't save it as a PDF. You need to go in and find out where it's off. So any of these amounts on here, you can click on to see what transactions created it. So for example, let's do accounts receivable, right? If I click on this, it'll show me all the transactions that has accounts receivable in it up to this date. So we have journal transaction 3 has accounts receivable for $5,000. Sarah Hay has a invoice for $1,030, which is coded to accounts receivable. And there was a payment from Billy Boards from accounts receivable for $5,000. That's why it's negative. So if I think, oh gosh, one of these was wrong, I need to fix it, then I come over to this amount and I click on it. I'm going to click on this 5,000 and it'll take me back to that transaction. So this was the initial transaction. And this is one that we created in chapter 3. Blondie Boards was the name. It was the invoice. So that's how you get to there. You can just hit back to go back to where you were, or you can use this little button up here, back to report list. It'll take you all the way back to the beginning. But if these aren't in balance, don't submit, fix it. Now, this is a good one to say, hey, I'm in the ballpark. These are right. I think I'm good to go. If you can't figure out just by looking at these where you're off, the best place to find errors is going to be on your detailed journal transactions. So that's the next report we're going to look at. We're going to click on back to report list, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and it's going to be transaction detail by account. We're going to click on this. This is, again, a custom report, and it is going to be from 12/31/17 to 12/30/18. This way we get all of the transactions that we created for this case. If we would simply do January 1st, 2018, we wouldn't have the beginning balances. So eventually, after we started paying bills and stuff, we might have some negative balances because we don't have those beginning balances that we started with as our transactions. So we're going to click Run Report. And this is what we get for all the transactions that happened in case 1 so far. So now that you're seeing this, you know what I have, so you know what you should have. If you have something different on here, well, you need to probably get rid of it, or if you don't have it, you probably need to add it, and that's probably where your mistake is. But it shows you each account, like your checking account, what your balances and stuff are. It shows your accounts receivable, the transactions, and what the balances are, and so on. So if you're looking for a mistake, here's one of the best places you can have to find it, because it shows also all the journal entries for that date, the balances. If you want to go back to that specific journal entry, again, you just click on the date or the amount right here on the right, and it takes you right back to it. This was a starting inventory for $4,000, 10 units, 400 of them. If this was wrong, you can edit it here and then save and close. I'm not going to change anything, so I'm just going to exit out at the top. But that's how you would find and correct some mistakes. So this is what I got. I'm going to export as a PDF, save it as a PDF. It just opened it up. I'm going to go big screen, and this is it. So this is page 1. It looks like there's 2 pages. I'm going to stay on it for a second so you guys have time to go through it and you see what you got. All right, so moving on to page 2. This is the bottom. This is the page 2. So on page 2 we have looks like a 0 inventory for this Fred Ruble. And then we have some retained earnings, we have some sales, total sales, services, total services, and then our cost of goods sold. So I'll stop right here for you to be able to check this, and then we'll move on. All right, so if all of these accounts balance and your trial balance balances, then you're ready to submit and you're good to go to move on to the next case. You do not want to move on to the next case until these are correct, because your next case, your case 2 for chapter 4, will be off because your trial balance numbers will be off. So your trial balance won't be right, but maybe your transaction by detail might be right, but because you didn't fix case 1, the trial balance, then your case 2 trial balance will be off, and it just keeps building on one another. That's why we say that you can't skip an assignment, and if you miss something in an assignment, you really need to go back and fix it. Because, with all these transactions, I mean, look, we're only doing the second case, right? The second time we did this case, and we're already on 2 pages of transactions. With that many transactions, if you're off 4,000, 3,000 in one transaction, you can see where your totals would be way off in the end. So, all right, well, this is done. I saved that. This is the end of case 1. Shoot me an email or a text message if you guys have any questions.